All right, I think we are ready to get started. Well, good evening, Holy Trinity parents and guardians, staff members, faculty members, those of you that are joining us. Welcome to our third installment of our Parent Town Hall series. My name is Charles Jefferson. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications here at Holy Trinity. First, we just like to say thank you to the parents, thank you to the guardians for your patience and you working with us through this COVID-19 pandemic and the recent and sudden closure of the school due to a positive COVID-19 case. We thank you for your understanding and your patience and for you sticking with us during this difficult time. It may be hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we all remain optimistic that we will get through this together. So we do appreciate you all sticking with us and working with us through that. We have a full agenda tonight, which we'll get to shortly. But before we do that, I wanted to just do some housekeeping, and then I'll introduce our panelists, our esteemed panelists here tonight. So as we have done with other town halls in the past, there will be a portion at the end where you all will be able to ask questions of the panelists tonight. So at the bottom of your screen, you should have a Q&A function as well as a chat function. So please do type your questions in either the chat function or the Q&A box. And then toward the end of the program, we will have a Q&A session where we will read your questions and then direct them to the appropriate person. The next piece of information that I have is that I put a link in the chat box for the parents. If you are interested, please join our Parents of Holy Trinity Facebook group. The link is in the description box. That's a great way for you to connect with other parents at Holy Trinity. And typically, different parents share different resources that may be beneficial to the larger group. And then we also post a school announcement. So typically, when we send mass emails to all the parents and guardians, we also follow that up with posting in that group. So if you haven't already, please feel free to join the Parents of Holy Trinity Facebook group. The other thing is that this meeting is being recorded and will be available on our school's YouTube channel, which I will also post a link to our school's YouTube channel. And we will follow this up with sending a link to all the parents where you can rewatch this recording if you need to later on. I think that's it. So let me go ahead and introduce. Oh, before I do that, the other thing, Dr. Paden just posted the next parent club meeting, which is on November 4th at 6 p.m. And the link to join is in there. We'll also send that up, follow that up with email communication. So the next parent group meeting is on November 4th at 6 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our panelists for tonight. Many of these faces you have seen before in many different capacities. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with our president, Mr. Tim Bopp, our principal, Dr. Quincy Paden, our director of technology, Mr. Jonathan Tarasi, our chief operating officer, Mr. John Malloy, our assistant principal, Mrs. Nara Mahone, our director of our dean of students, Dr. Bernada Baker. And then we also have joining with us our two school counselors. First, Miss Maggie Hogan, who is the counselor for the class of 2022 and 2024. And then we also have joining us is Miss Kelly McMullen, who is the counselor for the class of 2021 and 2023. And then we also have Miss Deborah Clare, who is our Director of Foundations and Corporate Relations here at the high school. And our very special guest tonight, which you will be hearing from very shortly, is Miss Maisha Ransom, who is the brand ambassador for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Metropolitan Chicago. So without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to our president, Mr. Tim Bopp, who will give us some opening remarks and then lead us in a prayer. Mr. Bopp.
Thanks, Mr. Jefferson, and welcome everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. Let's start with prayer, since that's what we do every day at Holy Trinity, by putting ourselves in the presence of God as we pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. By the power of your holy cross, transform our hearts and minds, that in your name we may transform the world. Provident God, we give you thanks for the Holy Trinity family, dedicated parents, energetic students, committed faculty and staff members, our model, the Brothers of Holy Cross, generous donors and board members, and our network of alumni around the nation and the world. Grant us the ability to see the good in all people. Give us the humility to see ourselves and others with clear vision, respect, and love. Provide us with your courage and compassion so that together we may meet the challenges of this school year with passion and resolve for building a world that is just and humane. Oh Lord, thank you for the opportunity to meet tonight, to exchange ideas and plans, and work together in your name. We ask for your grace through the intercession of St. Joseph, the patron of the Brother of Holy Cross, our founder, Blessed Basil Moreau, our brother, St. Andre Bisset, and in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, O Lord, amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. So tonight gives us another opportunity to come together, communicate about Holy Trinity and your child's education. I think one of the most important things during these meetings is for you, the parents, to understand that we learn as much from these gatherings as you do. So we're really excited to find out what you're thinking. What are those things that concern you? Are there areas that we may not have addressed? Ultimately, we hope that you get the information that you need, but we never want to discount the fact that that communication back to us is extremely important. So please don't be shy tonight. If you have something to say, please say it. This is a family sitting around the kitchen table discussing their day, our dreams, and what we want Holy Trinity to be, not only now, but in the future. We've had a great 2.5 months of the school year, but we are always looking to improve. It is and will be always our goal to provide a learning environment that allows each student to succeed. Holy Trinity has always been best when we are working together for the benefit of your child. So without further ado, as Charles said, we have much to cover tonight. So let's get to it. Again, welcome and thank you for being here, and thank you for your input. God bless.
Do you want me to go ahead and jump right in?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I am Deborah Clare, as Mr. Jefferson mentioned. I am the Foundation and Corporate Relations Director at Holy Trinity High School. I am also the liaison for the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So I wanted to talk to you all about Big Brothers Big Sisters as another option for our students to have a mentor or additional support in their lives. Holy Trinity has partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters for more than 7 years, and as a part of their site-based program. This program partners with the HT students, which are called the Littles, which is the little sisters or little brothers part of that. And the mentors are called the Bigs. And we partner with Northern Trust Bank to get our Bigs. pre-COVID, we would take our students to Northern Trust Bank from HT 2 times a month on a Tuesday, and they would meet with their bigs there for an hour and a half. So this program is great for students who, like I said earlier, who need any additional support or guidance. I think it's just a great opportunity for our students to meet with people outside of their regular, spaces. So that was pre-COVID, but now we're doing everything virtually. And Maisha Ransom, who's on the call tonight, she'll go a little bit more into detail about how we're going forward with the program. But just a little bit so you'll know that our program consists of 13 students at the moment. We're looking to recruit more students. Last year we had about 20 to 23 students, so we're looking to get back up to that level of student. So we're recruiting about 10 more students to round out the program. And it's male and female, so we go through a period of where we will recruit male at some point and female at some point, but it's for everyone at the school. In the past, recruitment was driven by me asking the teachers for any student recommendations that they would have to join the program who they thought would be a good fit. So a good fit would be a student who is not overly occupied with extracurricular activities or scholarship requirement for after school, or like sports. So, I mean, we will take them, but we just wanted to be cognizant, because once the students sign up, we ask that they are in the program. So we ask that they are committed to the program. Students, and I think that's it. So this year, recruitment will look a little different. We are recruiting, because the program is totally virtual now. So we are recruiting we're coming straight to you to recruit. We're asking the parents if your students need any additional support. This program is a great place for that. You know, again, the students are calling in and meeting with their bigs, and they are meeting with, and I am usually on the call with them every other Tuesday. We just had a call this Tuesday, and it was actually pretty great. They talked about mental health care, and the students chimed in and had a great conversation with their big. So it was a fun, a serious talk, but it was a great talk to have with the kids, and they still have fun doing it. So I wanted to turn it over to Maisha so that she can fill in whatever gaps I left. I left a lot of gaps in there for Maisha to kind of fill them in, so you can hear directly from Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Claire, and thank you all again for allowing me to come in to just briefly speak with you about Big Brothers Big Sisters. And for a lot of you who just wanted to know a little bit more about us, again, like, we're basically Big Brothers Big Sisters is kind of among the elite of non-for-profits in terms of non-for-profit organizations. We provide the one-to-one mentoring to over 2,000 Chicagoland youth. So with this program, it's free first and foremost. That's the good part about it. But we serve a lot of students from all different walks of life. So it doesn't matter whether, you know, there's both parents in the household or one parent. You know, there's a variation of income backgrounds that they come from, that they are a part of the program. But the whole purpose of our mentoring program is to provide basically a friend outside of the family circle. To the little, someone that they can talk to, relate to. And the good thing about it is with this site-based workplace program that we have with Holy Trinity, it allows students from the schools to not only connect with their mentors, you know, one-on-one and have that interaction, but they're also among their peers. So they're meeting in a group setting, but then they'll still have some one-on-one time in some breakout rooms occasionally to, you know, still catch up with their mentors. They do some pretty fun activities. I know that over the summer, some of the bigs and littles, the matches, they stayed connected. Even though it was a challenge as we all were transitioning through COVID and everything like that, they still had some pretty good things that they did, covering, like Ms. Claire mentioned. She mentioned like the mental health topics. It was teaching them about horticulture or you know, learning to de-stress with inviting people to come in to maybe do some yoga with them during their session. So it's quite a bit of educational and social pieces to it, especially since they get to join their peers in the class. We currently have 14 matches in the program, and we have about 4 male mentors on the wait list. So we definitely would like 4 boys to match with those mentors. But as she also mentioned, we want to get up to at least about 25 matches total in the program. So there's still a lot more room for girls and boys to join the program. But specifically, I would just say boys, since we have the 4 male mentors on the waiting list. I'm actually going to drop my email address in the chat box with my name and my phone number. And I know Miss Claire also has a flyer that has her contact information on it. But if you'd like to reach out to me directly, I'd be more than glad to, talk with you a little bit about what else the program offers, which we basically covered it all here. But again, it's free scholarship opportunities for the seniors. Once they graduate and continue on and graduate and are part of our program, $500 automatic scholarship toward technology. And then the second option is actually a bit more competitive. So you will have to write an essay, have a couple of recommendation letters, things like that. But great opportunity, and it's free and accessible to all students. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Maisha.
All right.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Ms. McMullen, Kelly McMullen. I, as Charles mentioned, am working with the seniors and the sophomores, and then Ms. Hogan is working with the freshmen and the juniors. So a quick update about what's going on with the counseling department right now. This morning, actually, we had our first virtual college fair, and we thought it went pretty well. So all the juniors and seniors basically clicked through the virtual college fair. There was about 50 schools, so they got to talk with the reps and ask questions. The juniors kind of got their first feel of college and how it is talking with the rep, and then the seniors got to really open up their kind of lists of schools and meet with some more schools that maybe they hadn't heard of or wanted to hear more from. So we thought that went pretty well. And then a quick update. So sophomores, I'm really just working with them right now on academics. I know there's a lot of students struggling with the e-learning and just in general. And then social emotional issues that come up, I've been working with them on that. And then seniors, the big thing is college right now. November 1st, which is this Sunday, I believe, is when the first deadline is for a lot of schools to do early action applications. So if you have students who are applying early action, they really need to get everything turned in before Sunday. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'll turn it over to Maggie to talk about what she's been doing.
Thank you, Kelly. As Kelly mentioned, I meet with the juniors and the freshmen this year. The counselors are basically, they should be your contact for your students for all academic, personal, and college and career questions or issues. For me personally, students or parents can email me. I'll drop my email in the chat below. I also have a meeting request form that I sent out to students. So if they want to do a Google Meet, they can request through that. I know that Kelly and I both have Google Classrooms that we would like you to encourage your students to join. We just post different resources and updates for them on the Google Classroom. As far as juniors, as Kelly mentioned, they had the college fair today. We will also have College 101 coming up second semester. So basically that's a course that I partner with Mr. Helbig. He is the English teacher for the juniors. And we basically just break down college into really manageable chunks. So they'll know what they need to do for next year, for senior year, which will be applying to schools, applying to scholarships, financial aid. So basically second semester is when they learn all the good stuff about college. As for now, what they should really be doing is just focusing on grades. This is really the most important year for college. Junior year is the year that they will look at and see their grades and really kind of judge their transcript on. So just encouraging them to reach out to me, reach out to their teachers, just trying to improve their grades as much as possible. And then for freshmen, we really try to just help freshmen focus on organization, time management, transitioning to school. So if any of your freshmen are having any issues in any of their classes, they just need help with scheduling or organizing, again, just have them either email or they can, like I said, I mentioned, I send out it's just like a Google form, and they can request to have a meeting with me whenever they need to. So again, just anything in regards to academics, personal, college career, Ms. McMullen and I are really both your as parents and students first person of contact. And again, I will put both of our emails in the chat right now.
Hey, before we go any further, a parent asked a question in the group or in the chat about what is early action. So either Ms. McMullen or Ms. Hogan, could you explain that or what early action is?
Yeah, of course. So early action is students will apply earlier to the specific schools, and then they receive the decision from the schools in advance of the school's regular decision date. So a lot of schools offer extra scholarship opportunities too for students who apply early. So if your student has schools that they're interested in, it is in their favor to apply early action. But if they don't get their applications in for early action, there's still time. A lot of schools have regular decision and rolling decision, and those deadlines are usually later on in the year, probably around January and then into the spring, depending on the school. But I would say if there's schools, and I've talked with all the seniors about this too, so most of them should know what it is, but if they have schools that they are interested in, I would encourage them to apply early action.
The only other thing I wanted to mention about early action, some schools, they tie scholarship money to early action. So if your student does not apply early enough, they will miss out on certain scholarship opportunities. So it's very important to check with the individual schools that your student is interested in, just to make sure that they're able to get as much money as possible from each institution.
And then should I answer the next question that just came in about college? Okay.
Yeah, we can go ahead and answer that.
Okay. So somebody asked, does a student apply to a college directly from the college website? So there's options. They can apply. There's a thing called Common App, and there's a lot of schools that do Common App. And what that is one application that a lot of different colleges will take. So there's a lot of schools within Common App, but they can apply directly on the college website as well. To any school, they can apply directly on the website. But I would suggest too that they create a Common App account if they haven't already, and to double check to make sure that the schools that they're applying to aren't in Common App, because if they are and they're applying to more than 2 schools that are in Common App, it'll be easier on them to apply through Common App. And I'll put the website for Common App in the chat box too, so that you have it.
So we have several other questions regarding the college application process, and I want to just take a few minutes to go ahead and address those with the counselors while we have a little bit of time. So if I can just go through some of the questions that some of the parents are posing in the Q&A. One question is who/when will seniors be assisted with college essays and applications?
So I have met with all of the seniors. There were a few that missed their meetings that I've reached out to, but I have met with most of them and gone over schools on their list and the whole application process. And then if they need any help, they're always welcome to email me. And same with all the parents too. You guys can always email me and I can answer any questions you have about the college process as they're applying.
Additionally, in terms of college essays, just as I will meet with my juniors this upcoming second semester, the current seniors, as long as they were enrolled in Holy Trinity last year, second semester, they also received College 101, where they went through the process of breaking down what they need to do for their applications, and they should already have a college essay written it's a requirement for junior year English to have your college essay ready. Whether or not that's the essay that they decide to send to colleges is up to the student.
Next question is, as my student tells me that they have not received some of this information via email, can we make sure that all of this information is sent in an email to students and parents?
Yeah, of course. I can type up an email and I can send. So we had a college presentation for all the seniors that was mandatory. So they were given all of this information, but I also emailed all the seniors after the presentation with all the information as well. But I can definitely send out, and also I think Charles sent out the college presentation on I don't know the app that you use, but to all the parents as well.
Yes, via school messenger. So yeah, a lot of the communication regarding different things involving college deadlines and applications were communicated through school messenger, which is what we use for mass communication with current students and families. How long does it take for a counselor to send transcripts to a college after requested by the student? Is there another way to obtain transcripts without going through a counselor?
No, so I send everything to schools through Naviance. So I go in and upload all student transcripts to Naviance and then there's a couple counselor documents that I have to fill out as well. And those are all sent to the schools through Naviance. They'll be sent before the school's deadline. So the schools will all receive all the materials from me before the deadline for that school. And then letters of recommendation, the students all know that they need to request those through Naviance as well. So basically everything that we do for college is through Naviance. So that's what the students will need to use.
I know we have other questions, but I want to keep us moving along. And we will have an opportunity at the end again for a question and answer. So please keep the questions coming. I think now we're going to turn it over to Mrs. Mahone, who is going to talk about ACT testing.
Hi, good evening, HT family. I'm Nara Mahone, the assistant principal, as well as the ACT testing coordinator for our school. Kelly McMullen is also the co-facilitator testing coordinator. So she and I have been, we've already had 2 tests, October 10th and October 17th, held at our school, just Holy Trinity students only. We had a good turnout. We have 3 more dates coming up in the future. December 12th, and I'll make sure this is in the chat box. So if your child or your student has not signed up, the next one is December 12th. The deadline for registration is November 20th for the December 12th date, and there are no late fees. So you can go to act.org to register, and I'll make sure you have the code. I'll post that in the chat box as well for the HT student ID or school ID number. We are unlisted, so you will not find our information on the ACT website, and I'll make sure you get the code for our school tonight. The next dates for ACT at Holy Trinity will be February 6th and April 17th. We do have 2 programs running for ACT prep. So if you're a junior, you're eligible either through Academic Approach, and students have been invited for the ACT ACT UP program, and that's already closed. We already have our students for that program, but I believe Academic Approach is still open. And Ms. Hogan, you can speak to that as well in a few minutes if you'd like to add on for Academic Approach. Ms. Hogan, she's leading that program at the school. And that's pretty much it for ACT testing dates. And if you guys have questions, you can always email me or contact me at the school.
I'll just say a quick note about Academic Approach. That information was emailed out to all of the juniors. When Ms. McMullen and I communicate with all of our students, we usually use the class of, and then whatever your student's graduation year is. So if you ever want to look at any emails that myself or Ms. McMullen are sent out, you can just search in your student's email class of 2022, class of 2024, and all of those wonderful emails that we send out will be in there. Academic Approach is one of those. I've sent out a form and a flyer. Basically, the flyer explains what it is, when your student will be able to meet with them. Again, it's all virtual. It's a great opportunity. It's free for everyone at Holy Trinity, so I highly suggest having your students sign up for it, and they just have to fill out the form, and then they will receive more information about that. So again, just have your students look for the form. I've been sending it more than once just to make sure students register by the deadline. I believe it's December 18th, sometime in December, but I think it's the 18th. So I will send another one out coming up soon, just as a reminder for your students to register.
Charles, can we knock out?
I was going to introduce Dr. Paden next. That's it for us for ACT, unless you have any other questions. I'm posting the information in the chat box right now. Thank you.
Charles, can we knock out some of the questions that have been coming through?
Absolutely. So let me go back up. One parent is asking, how long does it take to receive ACT results?
Usually takes a few weeks. I have not received notice since the last testing for October 10th or 17th, but we should get some communication by the end of this month or November. As soon as I receive it, I will communicate with the families. I will communicate with the child, your student, with those results.
Great. Thank you. Another question is, will we have a meeting for only senior parents?
In regards to ACT testing, or what topic?
They didn't specify, but I'm assuming around college applications, college essays, just college
Yes.
preparedness.
Yeah, usually there is a senior night event where we do bring in seniors and their parents in some ways for a celebratory meeting, wishing them luck on their pending graduation and college admissions. That will be in the spring. That date will be forthcoming.
All right. Will Academic Approach be available for seniors as well?
This is not sure. I know we wanted to send it out to juniors first. The only issue that I see arising is majority of college application deadlines will want you to turn in your ACT scores. And they take quite a bit of time. So students actually have to request their own ACT scores from the ACT website through their account. That's the only thing that will not send in. So I would be nervous because I believe it ends sometime in, I believe it's April, I believe. I have to check the flyer. But basically what I'm saying is, although it would help them prepare for the test that they would have to take would be far after when their applications are due. I would think if there are any students who are looking to sign up for Academic Approach, to speak with both me and Ms. McMullen to make sure that if they do decide to take the ACT, that it'll be quote unquote worth it, so that they can still apply to their deadlines and have all of that information sent on time. So for senior students who would like to participate in Academic Approach, please email both me and Ms. McMullen, and we will have to look at that student individually to see if it will be, if it makes sense for their application deadlines.
Another question about ACT, will parents actually get an email about for ACT? I'm assuming for the ACT results once those come in.
Yes, as soon as the results come in, I will share that information with parents. If you're asking about the pre-test that we took at the beginning of the school year, our ACT prep test through Cambridge, I do have those results, and I will be sending out that information to students as well as to the families soon.
Someone else is asking, the senior parents need to have information prior to the spring. We need details about graduation, prom, college, scholarships. Dr. Paden, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about some of those dates.
We send out scholarships almost on an everyday basis. Ms. McMullen does a wonderful job of making sure that once the scholarship is found, an opportunity, it is sent to all of our seniors. I encourage parents to speak with their senior students and make sure they are checking their inbox for those scholarship applications. What typically happens, and I've been in education a long time, these questions don't get handled until May or June, and then it is too late. And parents are now being hit with bills that could have been mitigated. Please check with your students every week about scholarship opportunities that's already in their inbox. In regards to things like prom and graduation, obviously with COVID, things are on hold right now. However, we are holding out hope that something can be done for our students. This will be in the spring, hopefully beyond the time of a vaccine that's been produced and manufactured and distributed. But at this time, we just can't say for sure.
One request would be, since I think one parent is saying that students don't always check their emails and keep up with their emails. So if we could, perhaps, post some of this information to the Parents of Holy Trinity Facebook group, and then also, be sure to follow up in email. So when we send things to the students, we also send things to the parents. That's something that we've been doing already, but we will continue to do that. And then we can also post some of the information about scholarships and college deadlines to the Parents of Holy Trinity Facebook group as well, which is why if you're not on that group, you should join it too, just to be sure that you get all the information that you need to get. All right. We have a couple other questions.
1 second, Charles.
Yes.
I just want to say one other thing.
Yes.
I can appreciate parents wanting extra layered information, whether it be sent directly to the parents or on our website. I want to encourage parents to truly encourage your students to check their inbox and to check it daily, every day, almost as if it's like a homework assignment. And it's partly because we want to make sure that we're training them to check their inbox every day, because with scholarships, financial aid information, college information, that will continue beyond the time they're here at Holy Trinity. And students will be held responsible for information that has been sent to them. The school will always be able to say, we sent it. Did your student read it? We want them to get in the habit of doing that now. Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to piggyback off of that. When I had seniors last year, boy, did they get annoyed with me. I sent them emails all day, multiple times a day. They made jokes about it all the time. But to be honest, as the senior counselor, and Ms. McMullen knows that as well, we receive so much information on a daily basis that we immediately forward it on to our students, scholarship information. If any schools are having kind of like flash sales for free applications that they don't have to pay their application fee, all stuff like that. We really encourage our seniors. College is really their first step to being adults, and it's their first time to make their own decisions and to really be mature. So we really encourage our students to check their email on a daily basis. And the way we explain it is when you go to college, mom and dad aren't going to be able to constantly remind you to check your email. So it's really on you. It's your responsibility to do that. And we think it's a great way for them to start advocating for themselves and really learning those habits that they will need once they leave our doors, which is obviously our goal, is to prepare them to be responsible and to do what they need to do once they leave Holy Trinity.
Thank you. And to add to that, I know that the counselors, specifically Ms. McMullen, has a resource for students, all-in-one stop through a Google Classroom where students can look up all of that information. And it's organized, and she's been communicating that information with all the students, especially the seniors.
And one last thing that I just want to add, because Dr. Paden reminded me of it when he was talking about financial aid. Just in case your students didn't let you know, tomorrow after school from 3 to 4 p.m. we are having a Fafsa Workshop. So if you need help with financial aid and filling out the Fafsa, we encourage you to attend, and your student does have the link for that workshop.
Okay.
All right, I think it's my turn. Good evening, HT parents and guardians. Welcome. I have a few things I want to talk to you about. First, I'd like to address the elephant in the room, and that is that we are currently closed, not necessarily closed, I don't really like that word, but school is not in session in the building. And that is because last Thursday, I was informed that an individual within our community tested positive for COVID-19. At that time, I met with my administrative staff along with Mr. Malloy and Mr. Bott to ensure that all school protocols and policies were now to be followed and executed. The first one was that we wanted to make sure that the building was disinfected and cleaned thoroughly. Back in the summer, we purchased 2 Victory jetpacks. What those are is that they are cleaning sprays that are filled with cleaning solution that kills the virus within 3 minutes. The other benefit to them is that it dries in less than 10 minutes, allowing us to clean the building quickly, efficiently, and thoroughly. When I came in on Friday, the next day, you could smell the difference. So I want to assure all parents that so far, we have executed that one protocol. And that protocol is run identical to the recommendations given to us by the CDC. Next, we alerted all students, parents, teachers, staff, board members, and partners that we were closing because of the virus. And we wanted to make sure that you guys were communicated with and given all information that we could give at that time. At this point, we feel like it's best to leave the identity of that individual anonymous to protect their confidentiality and their health. We did perform contact tracing on all individuals who came into contact with this person during the time that they were here. Now, the good news is this person does not come to the building every day. But we can question, they had not been in the building at all. The last time they were in the building was the Friday before we found out. I also assure you that this individual works or is in a place in the building that is somewhat isolated. Next, we alerted all of our teachers and staff to make sure that they had all of their materials they needed because they didn't have to be in the building this week, although some of them have elected to continue teaching from their classroom, which is fine so long as we got a chance to clean the building first. We are out until November 6th. That's a Friday, And after that weekend, we are back in the building on November the 9th. That is a blue cohort day. So if your student is in the blue cohort, they will be the first group back in the building when we reopen. Now, the second part of this is something that many of you don't know yet, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about it today, although I have talked a little bit about it with some of our parent club members. Now, many other high schools, Catholic high schools in Chicago, have been discussing for some time, or perhaps even had it in their plan in the summer, that after Thanksgiving, they would go 100% remote e-learning. What that means is that on Monday, November 30th, the day after Thanksgiving break, all class instruction would be e-learning through the last day of finals, which is December 18th. During that time, all students will e-learn from home, and during the week of finals, their finals will be sent home electronically to them. Now at that point, we go on Christmas break, and that will run from December 18th through January 5th. But we have been very safe here at Holy Trinity. We feel like it's given us the opportunity where we haven't had any cases all the way up until late October. We would like to continue following guidelines that allow for that. And one of them is this. While classes will resume Tuesday, January 5th, we will remain e-learning for the remainder of that week. And we will reopen the building on Monday, January 11th. Now, the reason for that is we understand what the holidays mean. Here at Holy Trinity, our theme for the year is family. We also understand that your families will be getting together for the holidays. When that occurs, that's fine. But we also want to make sure that we're careful. And if there's anyone that is exposed to an individual who may be carrying the virus, we wanted to have 17 days worth of distance between Christmas Day and the day that we reopen the building. And that's part of the reason why we're extending it to the 11th. Some high schools are electing to extend it 2 weeks and would come back after Martin Luther King Day. But given the fact that we're closed now, and we will close again after Thanksgiving, we felt like 1 week after we open was enough. And that is our plan regarding COVID for the immediate future. Now, we're going to have one more parent town hall this semester. That will happen on November 23rd. It's a Monday. It's 6 o'clock. We wanted to have it then because that week is Thanksgiving break, and obviously we don't want to do it then. But that'll be the final town hall for this semester. The week before, November 19th, Thursday, you guys will receive a survey almost identical to the one that you got in the summer. That survey will dictate your child's attendance preference. As promised, we wanted to give every parent another opportunity to decide how you want your student to approach learning in the spring. Back in August, many of you chose a hybrid model where your child will come to the building twice a week in one of our cohorts, either blue or gold. The other option was e-learning, where your child would never come into the building and learn full-time from home. Those two choices will be given to you again, but there might be another choice on there as well. And information on that and other changes for next semester will be coming to you this Friday in a letter from me. I will discuss them with all of our teachers tomorrow in our teachers meeting, and we'll all be on the same page shortly thereafter.
If I may add with attendance, while your student is e-learning and they have a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment, you are still required to send in a doctor's note to the office, either email or phone call, making sure that Ms. Saavedra has the attendance information and note.
Thank you, Nora. There's one other piece of information I'd like to talk about, and it's somewhat unrelated, but it's very important, and that is athletics. A few hours ago, today, the IHSA determined that one of our winter sports, basketball for boys and for girls, will go forward as planned. That means that the IHSA is planning to have competitive winter team sports. As that relates to Holy Trinity, that means basketball. There are some guidelines that Holy Trinity will be implementing if this continues. Now, we all know that COVID cases here in Chicago have increased over the last 2 weeks. It's part of the reason why we know we got hit with an individual who came down with the virus. I have to admit, it is difficult for me to see competitive team sports go forward under these circumstances. The guidance that we've gotten from IHSA, along with some of our coaches and our athletic directors from other Catholic schools, appear to be confident that this can happen. However, 2 days ago, basketball as a sport went from mid-risk to high risk. We will continue talking about whether or not basketball will move forward as planned. But I did want to put it on the radar of all of our parents, because this is a tough situation and some important decisions will be coming forward really soon. That's all I have for tonight. At this point, we'll take some questions.
All right. We have some questions that have been submitted, and I'm sure there will be other questions that come in. So we are just going to go ahead and jump right into it. The first question is, Illinois made or now made Election Day an official holiday. Do HT students have this day off? Dr. Paden, I'll let you answer that.
HT students do not have this day off. However, you will be going to the Plan B schedule day of election. Students who are seniors and eligible to vote, we have encouraged them to do so, and we will be letting them out a little early.
Okay. From Julio, we understand that our kids are no longer getting homework, I guess, during this period. Is that correct?
Homework has been suspended for the time that we have been closed. Now, there is a caveat to that. That is only written homework and/or any homework where it is required to use the Chromebook to also work and write. All reading assignments, chapter readings, handouts, literature books are still available to give as homework. Please do so.
Thank you. Also, Dr. Paden, a question is, why not wait 17 days after the New Year? Families get together not just for Christmas, they do that for New Year's as well, in regards to staying remote.
It is a thought. We did discuss that. At the time, we felt like 17 days from Christmas was enough. And we really wanted to get back into the building as fast as we possibly can while still being off for some additional time. We could revisit that, but as of right now, the plan is to come back on the 11th.
Okay. This question is regarding basketball. For our boys, for basketball boys, how is transportation going to be handled with COVID cases rising?
And that's part of the reason why this is strange to me, because transportation is critical as it relates to all sports. If for no other reason, you got 15 young men piling up into a small bus. And we can clean the bus as thoroughly as we want to, but we know that social distancing is impossible to do on the bus. This is one of the considerations that'll go into our decision to go forward with basketball.
And on that same subject of sports, a question is being asked, will there be soccer at all?
Soccer has been moved to the spring. We have not yet heard any information yet on if soccer will proceed this year.
Okay. Are there plans to still have a junior ring ceremony this year?
Yes.
Okay. When will seniors be able to take graduation pictures?
Graduation and school pictures has been relocated to the spring, but no date has been set forth. We will have that date, though, before Thanksgiving.
This next question is, well, it's two different questions that the parents have. So I'll ask the first one, or I'll read them. The first question that's being posed is that some teachers are still marking students tardy when they are literally 2 minutes late. I thought teachers were taking attendance toward the end of class in case they were having connectivity issues, etc. So I'll just pose that to either you, Dr. Paden, or Mrs. Mahone.
No, I'll take it. Nara, you can feel free to jump in if you like. If class starts at 8, you want all the kids there before 8. 8:02 is late. 8:01 is late. Now, if a student is having a technical issue, all they have to do is email, once their connection comes back, their teacher and let them know, hey, didn't mean to be late, but I was having a tech issue. For first period, teachers have allowed students to come in as early as 7:45. So if you want to be on time for first period, please try to get there as early as you can. 8:02 is late.
If there's connectivity issues, we are compassionate to the situation. We do understand with technology, Wi-Fi issues. So just make sure that's communicated to the attendance office or myself so we can get it cleared up if it is a problem. If your child was on time, but they couldn't get through because of the internet, that we understand. But if they're coming in consistently late, then that's a conversation with you, with the parent and myself and you and the student.
Second question that the parent has about homework is, can a suggestion be made to the teachers to not put homework due at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. the same day after a child has been online daily? Some students have jobs after school or tutoring/mentoring programs. Can't homework be due by 11:59 on the due date instead of random times throughout the evening?
That suggestion has been made to the teachers and will be reinforced tomorrow.
Okay. On the same topic of homework, and I think we may have addressed this in other town halls, but Toya Young is asking, I thought teachers were reducing homework 60%, excluding math and science. My child still has lots of homework. I don't see the reduction.
reduction has been made. If you feel like it has not, feel free to email me or call me, and I will go through your student's schedule and see what the problem is. I have done that for one parent already.
If a student is in class and they have assigned classwork that's due during class and it's not getting done, I know that's come up before too. That also needs to be addressed. That classwork is due during class time. So I apologize, my daughter. But if it's homework and a lot of homework, then that's something that we would have to have a conversation about as well.
Now, on the other side of that, another parent is asking, why has there been a limit on homework? Students need homework.
Good question. We've researched this profoundly, I would say. The reason for the reduction is that we are taking into account not only students who have jobs or other responsibilities after school, but because the mass majority of our students are e-learning, we recognize that many of our students are online between 6 and 7 hours a day. And if each teacher on their schedule gives out homework anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, and they have 7 teachers, that's 7 hours of additional time, either on the Chromebook or doing general homework. That has been deemed excessive. So I've met with the teachers to talk to them about pulling back some on the homework, because we can't approach this year the same way we've approached every other year. There's this pandemic that's going on that not only affects and restricts movement, but affects our students' moods, anxiety. We can't see our friends. Places we used to go are shut down. And the eerie feeling that comes with it that perhaps all of us are going through. We are empathic to this. And that's why the reduction was made.
After the holiday season is over, is there an option of doing e-learning for the spring semester? I think you may have already talked about that, Dr. Paden.
Yes.
These next few questions revolve around basketball. One parent is asking, basketball is extremely important for some of our students. It's an opportunity for scholarships. I would hope that parent input was accepted before any decision is made.
I actually feel like parent input is the reason why basketball is still on the table. It is my assumption that parents have talked with members of IHSA and other high schools to ensure that basketball, football, wrestling, bowling, and other sports that are typical in the fall continue as planned. However, with me, safety is always going to be first. There was a proposal to have basketball games played with the players wearing a mask. Now, I don't know about you, but when I have my mask on and I go up one flight of stairs, I'm tired. I don't see how we can play a whole game of basketball wearing a mask. As you also know, socially distancing is impossible to do in basketball. So while I can respect any parent wanting their child to play basketball, especially any parent who feels their student has a legitimate chance at a Division I, Division II, Division III scholarship. I get it. I do. But it's a balance we are walking. And we're walking it.
These next two questions are sort of similar. One, if we do have basketball, will Holy Trinity have home games? And the flip side of that is, will parents be allowed to attend those games?
As of right now, a schedule has been completed, which I believe has 11 to 12 games on it already scheduled, but probably not more than that. If basketball goes forward, it would be difficult to have crowded gymnasiums during a game. And who is to decide who can go to a game and who can't? As of right now, if you look at the NFL or the NBA, there are no spectators in the stands. High school basketball probably will follow suit if there is high school basketball.
Next question is, why wasn't gym canceled? Some students don't live in the safest areas, and asking them to go outside and run is not always feasible.
Gym was brought back into the building the first week of October. There may have been some gym classes that occurred outside after, if weather was permitting, but I'm pretty sure all of gym classes are now in the building.
I think the question might be that students are being asked to exercise at home or run around their own neighborhood.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes.
That is an excellent point. I think some of the calisthenics and activities, physical activities that have been asked of students were asked to be done outside. We will discontinue that practice.
This is a question that the counselors can answer. Can juniors attend the Fafsa Workshop as well?
So basically the way the FAFSA workshops work is it's our ISAC representative, Maggie West, actually helping students fill out the FAFSA, and senior students are the only ones who fill out the FAFSA. So if you are a junior parent and you have a junior student, you will work on the FAFSA next year. It opens up October 1st, and we will have similar workshops just as the seniors are having this year.
Okay. My child is still receiving homework, and it has associated deadlines to be turned in through the Chromebook. If homework is suspended, why is this still happening?
Email me the teacher and your student's name. Now, I want to say something about homework. We have been ultra flexible with homework this year, as I feel like we should be. But I don't want anyone to get the idea that homework is not going to be an essential tool of learning moving forward once we reopen, because it will. We don't want students and/or parents or guardians to indicate to us that homework entirely has to end, because homework will not end when your child goes to college or trade school, if they decide to go to the military or wherever. There will always be work that might need to get done after they leave wherever they are. So for these 2 weeks, yeah, beyond these 2 weeks, homework is back on the table. Now, it will be revised, but there will still be homework, as it was for all of us.
Speaking on that same topic of homework, when we do go to 100% remote learning after Thanksgiving, will homework still be given?
Yes.
Another question. Agreed, Dr. Paden, but when they are in school 100% of the time, homework would normally be due in person the next day, not the same day.
We do leave that discretion up to teachers. So homework has been due when homework is due. And we want to make sure that students get in the habit of completing their homework and or all assignments that they are given, so long as we're not getting to an excessive amount. But a lot of our students' academic performance, and I'm talking about those who are not doing as well, is one reason. A lot of them have zeros in assignments that were due. We don't want students feeling like, hey, I just didn't want to do it, or you know what, I'll turn it in next week. No, because there's no other aspect in their lives where turning in work when you feel like it is allowed. Holy Trinity included.
Will HT buses be used to transport the basketball players, or will the buses be outsourced?
Holy Trinity bus will be used if there is a season.
All right. My child is getting homework in all classes this week, so some teachers may still be choosing to give homework regardless. I believe that's just a statement that one of the parents made, that their child is still getting homework, even that homework has been suspended.
Email me your child's name. I'll take it from there.
I'd like to add really
yes.
quick to the parents. If your student's having trouble with time management and managing how much work they have and completing it in a timely fashion, please have them reach out to the Tutoring Center, the RLC. We do have tutors on site. They also offer virtual tutoring, as well as our counselors can help support students with the executive functioning, whether that's organization, time management. I think a lot of these missing assignments are due to either forgetting or not submitting work. That's what I've seen, as well as just feeling overwhelmed, sitting at the computer for hours at a time and then losing track of what needs to be turned in. So if you know that about your child, please have them contact Ms. Taylor Wallace or at the RLC, or Ms. Hogan or Ms. McMullen, so they can get more supports, because a lot of this from the pandemic has impacted our students in a negative way. And so we're here to support your child, to help them, and we need your communication as well as your child's involvement as well. So if we can all support your student by really finding out what's going on, to give them the support they need.
Excellent, thank you. Question for the counselors: can we set up an appointment with the senior counselor? I have many questions regarding college admissions and scholarships.
Yeah, of course. You can email me, and we can meet whenever. So.
All right. Mrs. Mahone, this is a question about ACT prep. Can ACT prep be mandatory and not optional? That should be a part of the curriculum freshman, sophomore, and junior year.
So the ACT program preps that we have, they're outside organizations that students can qualify for. So we can't make them, but we do offer it and highly recommend it. Academic approach is still open for all students. If you are on the free and reduced lunch program, they are offered reduced or free because these programs do make money. So part of it, there's a fee involved. The other program that I mentioned earlier, it's already full, but there are many programs out there, and a lot of these programs cost a lot of money. So we're fortunate enough to have programs at our school that are either significantly reduced or free, and we would like all students to participate, especially juniors and seniors. We can't mandate it, but we highly recommend it.
I will also note that ACT prep is also within the curriculum in many of our teachers' classrooms. So even though it's not quote unquote designated as ACT prep, our teachers are working on those skills that students will need to take the ACT and do well on the ACT.
Thank you. This next question is, what if we want to speak to a teacher and email is not available? Should I call the main office?
Email is always available. If you are having some difficulty getting a response back to an email, don't call the main office, call my office.
Okay. Other questions? We went through all the questions that have been submitted thus far. Do we have other questions? Please do submit those at this time. And following up on that, I do not have access to email, just phone calls. Since the teachers are at home, how do I call them?
That's an excellent question. Are we talking about a parent? If we are, yes, you can either call my office. I just dropped my my extension, and we can connect you to the teacher via phone.
Can I add something real quick?
Yes.
I can also encourage teachers to use call forwarding. So our phones at school are actually internet-based phones, and they have a lot of features on top of a normal landline, one of which is to forward. So I, for instance, have had mine set up to forward. So if you call my line and I'm not in my office to pick it up, it forwards to my cell phone, and I see that it's from Holy Trinity. I don't screen the call because it's a number I don't recognize. It says Holy Trinity is calling, so I pick up the phone. So I can send an email out letting teachers know that this feature is available and encouraging them to make use of that if they expect a call from parents.
From Rosa Salgado, if we do have sports, will we have senior night, and will we have and will senior parents be able to attend?
It's possible. We just haven't gotten that far yet.
All right. Another question that just came in from Stephen, can students take the SAT test?
Yes, students can take the SAT. We do not have the college SAT prep, but I can get materials for that. I know a lot of schools on the East Coast do offer that. So you can email me and I can get the information you need for the SAT college prep test.
Also, if your student is on a fee waiver or free and reduced lunch, we have fee waivers for both the ACT test and the SAT test in the Counseling Center. So you can just email one of myself or Ms. McMullen.
Other questions? Other questions that parents have, please do submit those via the Q&A box or in the chat. When are we supposed to get report cards?
So we have not sent out report cards. We didn't do so at the end of the first quarter, in large part because report cards typically were picked up on the same day as parent-teacher conferences in the building. Well, parent-teacher conferences this year were not in the building. So to avoid some mailings and a huge expense, we indicated to all parents to check Schoology on October 12th, and the grades that were in there on that date represented your child's first quarter grades. There's a good chance we will do something similar in the spring.
And I guess a follow-up to that would just be to go ahead and check those, because the same person just asked, can we get them electronically?
Electronically would be the equivalent of looking at Schoology.
I would just like to quickly make a plug about Schoology. That is a great way for you to check on your student to make sure that they're submitting their assignments. I think Mrs. Mahone mentioned earlier, part of the reasons why some of our students don't have the grade that they want and the grade that they deserve and they can attain is because they're just simply not turning in work. So I know that Ms. McMullen and myself, we regularly check Schoology and let students know, give them the encouragement and the push to turn in those assignments. But I also know that if a parent or guardian at home were to be checking on Schoology and ensuring that their students are submitting assignments, I think that would be a great way to improve many of our students' grades.
As a follow-up to Schoology, a parent is asking, is there a way to see all grades at one time in Schoology without having to click on each subject?
Mr. Tarasi, is that possible?
To the best of my knowledge, it is not possible. You're seeing the account exactly the way that the student does. And so if they have no functionality for that, then neither would the parent account.
Will GPAs come out after the first semester? I believe that's grade point average.
Yes.
If I have not qualified for the free lunch program before, could I benefit from the college and other waivers now since all students are receiving free lunch? That's a good question.
So I can answer that. Unfortunately, no. The waivers that you get for free and reduced lunch to help with things like the ACT or college applications are based specifically on your own income. So if families do want to benefit from those waivers, they should still apply for the free and reduced lunch program. The fact that all students are now receiving free meals does not necessarily mean that you qualify as a free and reduced family yourself. It just means that they've reduced and relaxed the restrictions for the food service program to accommodate these unusual times, but it doesn't change how your own personal financial circumstance is viewed.
Thank you, Mr. Malloy, for that.
Can parents still sign up for free and reduced application?
Yes, and they're encouraged to for purposes of receiving other funding benefits like ACT waivers. The application is available on our website under the food program. You can also apply for it through the My Mealtime app, which is what parents use to add money to their students' food accounts. So I would encourage you, even though regardless of what you do, you're going to get free meals this school year, you may get some of the added benefit or other programs by completing the application if you think you'll qualify.
A comment from Josie Lopez, who says, I actually receive an email every Friday from Schoology with my son's grades, which is great. So, thank you for that. Mr. Malloy, this is a question for you. Can we get our money back from the My Mealtime app? I added money last year right before the pandemic hit.
If you could email me your name and information, I'll look into that for you and see what our options are. I know typically, for example, if a student graduates from Holy Trinity with a credit in the cafeteria, we would issue them a refund check. So hopefully we'll be able to help you out. You may also want to keep some funds in there. So the food in the cafeteria is free of charge for a healthy, well-balanced meal. But if your student plans to purchase things like chocolate chip cookies or Powerades or an extra slice of pizza, things along those lines, those charges will still be incurred through the a la carte basis of sales outside of the normal, well-balanced meal for breakfast or lunch.
Can I transfer money from one child to the other? One child is doing e-learning.
Hopefully we could figure that out for you. Mr. Jefferson, if you wouldn't mind just including my email address in the chat box for any questions related to specific student accounts.
Yep, you got it. Does the student need to have the Common App in order to apply for other scholarships?
No, they do not need the Common App to apply for scholarships. The scholarships can usually be found on the individual schools' websites or also in the college presentation that I had emailed out to them. There's a whole list of scholarship websites where they can apply and look for scholarships. And then every day I usually send out the scholarships that I get to my inbox. I forward on to them. So they can apply to scholarships many different ways.
There are many scholarships in every senior's inbox right now.
Other questions that parents have? Any other questions? We'll take a couple minutes. Okay. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, I see you're welcome. Thank you all for attending. So if there aren't any other questions, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to President Bob, Mr. Bob, and Dr. Paden for any closing remarks.
Thanks, Mr. Jefferson. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks for our panelists. I think what we can see here is there's a lot of information that parents still want, even though we do our best to get the information to you. So thanks for coming. That's what these town hall meetings are all about. Hopefully you've got a direction now. I think some of our parents were surprised with the amount of information that's already been sent out in regards to college applications, preparing for college, writing college essays, college scholarships. Please, our counselors are constantly sending information out to our students. Please don't hesitate to reach out to them. They have openly invited not only you, but the students to do so. So in regards to technology, you've got Mr. Tarasi. Don't forget about the Big Brothers, Big Sisters program that was an hour and a half or so ago, but let's not forget that opportunity is out there as well. We'll continue to send these opportunities out to our students. We want our students to take advantage of everything that is out there. And finally, don't hesitate to reach out in any way to any of the panelists here. We may not know the answer, but we may know the person that does know the answer. or we may refer you to the person. So remember, we're all part of the same organization and same family. What we want is for your students to get the very best education they can. So don't hesitate to be aggressive. Don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you and for them. So thank you all. God bless you all. Dr. Paden?
Thanks everybody for coming out. If you have any questions, just feel free to call me or to send me an email. I'm always here for parents. I don't care what day or time it is. You are free to call me on Sunday in church.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending. The Parent Club meeting is November 4th, and the link, we'll send that link out in a follow-up email communication, and this recording will be available on our YouTube channel by the end of the week. All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending. We are HT. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night.